So I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'm just going to get right into and tell you everything you need to know about the AW2723DF. This is Dell's latest 1440p 280Hz gaming monitor that also uses IPS technology. Getting right into it, this monitor, as far as the external build quality, you do have a couple of zones of RGB lighting that you can control on the OSD, a fully functioning stand that gives you height, tilt, pivot, as well as swivel functionality. As far as report selection, you do have DisplayPort 1.4, 2 HDMI 2.0 ports, not 2.1, and you also do have 4 USB 3.2 ports as well that are pretty nice to use, and 2 of them are very easily accessible, 100% best in class as far as easily reachable USB ports on any gaming monitor. Getting into the specs of the monitor, you're looking at 27 inches, 2560 by 1440p resolution, and you're also looking at a display HDR standard of HDR 600. It's not going to be the absolute best HDR experience that you've ever had because it's an IPS panel, and naturally some of those blacks are going to look a little bit washed out. What that turns into as far as gaming performance, you do have great dark area visibility with this IPS panel that you can also adjust. And you do have a couple of other nifty color modes and game modes as well that you can set to get really good color reproduction out of the monitor and get very good performance in game depending on what you're playing. My personal favorite mode is the RPG mode. I typically find that is my most preferred mode when it comes to using these Dell and Alienware panels. But now they also have a creator tab where you do also have P3 color, where you can use the pre-calibrated color settings built into the monitor to get more accurate color performance from the factory without having to do any funky calibrations that take you a lot of time, effort, and also require expensive tools. And the ratings on this are actually quite good. You do have pretty good range as far as brightness is concerned, ranging from 32 nits all the way up to 411 nits. So you will get a pretty good sustained brightness experience from this. And obviously when HDR is enabled, you will have some pretty good experience with the peak brightness levels. But just remember, since this is an IPS panel, the contrast is not going to knock your socks off. In terms of the blur performance, you will have an above average experience because this monitor is pretty clear and very competitive for its price range, and also punching a little bit above its weight class, in my opinion, giving about the same performance level of the Asus PG279QM that is also about $100 more expensive at the time of filming this. This monitor is about $650 and it gives you pretty much identical performance to the PG279QM that is about $750 and also 40 Hz slower in refresh rate. Now in terms of during your gaming experience, are you going to notice those 40 Hz? Not necessarily. It is a little bit nicer to have, especially considering that this monitor is cheaper and gives you very similar performance when it comes to gaming. Now you do also have AMD FreeSync Premium Pro as well as NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility, and you won't have any issues experiencing screen tearing, but you will have to deal with that little bit of increased input latency when it comes to having those features enabled. But as long as you're capping out your frame rate and you are getting good performance in game, you don't really have to worry about turning that on. You won't necessarily need it unless you're dropping well below 200 FPS or so. For the price, I think that this is definitely a great looking panel as far as aesthetics, and also as far as performance, you're looking at a very good performer that is kind of hard to beat in terms of the price. Is this worth upgrading from the old version of this monitor? But if you are in the market for a new 1440p 280Hz monitor, this one is definitely one that you should consider for the price, especially since Dell does give you that 3-year advanced exchange warranty and the premium panel guarantee, and you won't have any bad pixels from the factory. And if you do, it's very easy to go through Dell's customer service and get it swapped out. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also, as a quick reminder, remember I did also compare this monitor to 2 other monitors as well, one from BenQ and one from Asus. Check out that video in the link in the description below.